Welcome to Center of Light, all my beautiful friends. Keith Anthony Blanchard, he also known as Yanava. Ya is heart, God will, Na, the mind, intellect when it's balanced. Reasoning, discernment. Backbone is Va. It's our ancient, primordial, sacred seed syllable, self, Yanava. It's everyone. Welcome to Center of Light on this Tuesday night, Center of Divine Foldment and Reinforcement. Radio to ignite the soul and the transformation station. Strap in all my brother and sister astronauts as we launch for inner space. Tonight my guest is Mr. John H.K. Fisher. He's going to tell you a powerful story, a beautiful story. And somehow I think it parallels with a lot of the truth about John. I don't know that. I don't like to know too much about my guest. Can you guess why? Because I want the same effect. I want to be somewhat organic, innocent in this experience so I can have the same wow factor. All my guests will give you the wow factor. I do my work. So I can have that same experience you do at the same time because truthfully, we're all in this together. September 21st and 22nd. One moment. I've been having the coughs like crazy. September 21st and 22nd, Spiritual Expo, 4 Points Spiritual Expo, put on by Victoria Smith and Circle of Chi. That's Circle of QI. You can contact me or look on Facebook at Circle of Chi or on the internet, Circle of Chi. Let me tell you about this life-changing experience. It's not just your normal Spiritual Expo event. Victoria Smith, she's got a fire in her, and she wants to ignite that and hand it to you via this particular spiritual exposition. Let me tell you a little bit about that experience. September 21st and 22nd for both days, $20, one day, $15. At the Agri Center here in Memphis, Tennessee. If you're not from this area, why not get in your car, take a road trip? Road trips are fun. If you don't believe me, watch the movie. I play music all the time. Come out and hang out with me. I'll get you a table, we hang, wake up in the morning, go eat breakfast, and we jet to the 4 Point Spiritual Expo, September 21st and 22nd. Crystals and stones, nutrition, holistic medicine services, environmentally conscious businesses, spiritual readers, authors, paranormal investigators, researchers, Akashic records, and I've just been validated. I'm so glad it's going to be there. Auric photography. I love it. Free and paid workshops, food trucks, and lots of entertainment. Maybe I can play for the expo. Maybe I can do an hour slot. September 21st and 22nd. Let me tell you about the keynote speakers that are going to be there. I think it's a $10 charge for the keynote speakers, but there will be speakers for both days. Dr. Rita Louise, author, naturopathic physician. 10 a.m. on Saturday. Dr. Jason Rand, author, radio host, researcher, is going to be there. Larry Flaxman, he was on Discovery Channel, Ancient Aliens. Lynette Marie, author, medicine woman, pure health warrior. I am going to be a keynote speaker, and I am going to be talking about radical transformation. They will tell you, spiritual teachers will tell you there are no shortcuts. But if there was one, I have it. I'm going to put you into a situation to where there's no way out of the corner until you are able to grasp some inkling of the wholeness that you are. That is the shortcut. Once you get that glimpse of the experience that you are potentially to be or will be between now and eternity, because one day you will eventually see what I'm offering to you now. If I can grab you, you're in trouble. I'm going to punch the door open, and I'm going to expand your awareness to where you will go, oh my God, I never thought I was that large. September 21st and 22nd. If you need more information, please feel free to contact me. Reiki, CBD oils, singing bowls, healing touch practitioners, massage therapists, chakra balancing, sound and light technology, healing. What a dealing. Wow. We're all going to be dancing on the ceiling. Tonight, my guest, suggested to me by a literary agent, a dear friend of mine I interviewed on Center of Light Radio a couple of 3 years ago, Gavin Lee Davies. He got me a very high-level deal at John Hunt's Publishing. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you. Worldwide distribution and publishing. He suggested, Keith, you need to contact John H.K. Fisher. I said, fantastic. And here we sit today. Some Lavender Soul for ya. What would be a good song I can play? Lavender Soul, we have been writing for the last 4 weeks. The singer and I, Bernard, have been working up new material. And it's very ambient, very Anya-ish, Zeppelin-ish. If you can make a sandwich, you got the bread, you got your meat or your veggies, whatever, and your dressing, your condiments. And Angelo Rapin, world-renowned, award-winning pianist of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, is going to take it to the next level. He's going to create all the classical kinds of shifts. I'm excited. I am excited. I am excited. Some Lavender Soul. How about, as we look out and about in the world, it seems chaotic. I get it. Chaos is an honest word. The question is, instead of the world changing, are you changing your perception to see something different beyond the chaos? Can you see the order in the chaos? When whatever happened to you many years ago and you're in a dark night of the soul, it was chaos. Hindsight, it became your greatest wisdom. Order. Healing doesn't have to take that long. It does require your passion and your sincerity. And it's all about making a choice, and the time is now for change. Lavender Soul, time for change. Enjoy. Be right back with my guests. See you soon.
as I contemplate a billion stars, leaving my hands to fate. That's all I've got, all I've got. In the summertime, I won't have no water. Oh, wait, it's a little bit harder to time for a change. Time for a change. Time for a
Welcome to the Center of Light, all my friends, my family, my tribe, those who care about anything that means everything. I'm going to tell you about my guest tonight. I'm having some issues with one of my software things. Let me try something. Yeah, it's not working. Whatever, it does not matter. It's time to get down to some Center of Light radio business. Before I get to my guest here shortly, I do want to share with you something that is going to take place, hopefully. I can make this happen for the Spiritual Expo. If not, and you want to come to Memphis, Tennessee, an opportunity to be around a divine, illumined, God-realized avatar is at your disposal right now. This God-realized man, Lord Data, the first God incarnation to ever step foot on this planet. No joke. What you are looking at is the effulgence of infinite suns. The expo is going to take place on the 21st and 22nd. I believe it's the 21 moment. Fifth, we get to spend time with him. I'm not sure what the event's going to be. Last time we did a question and answer. God gets to answer your question. Those that are important. No nonsense. Will I get married? None of that bull. Something about your life that means anything to contributing to the well-being of who you are and to the world. I'm not sure what the event is going to be. Stick around with these presentations. Contact me, Keith, or whatever. I will let you know. The humility that happens when you're around such a one is the doorway. Time to get down to Center of Light radio business. Let me tell you about my guest tonight, Mr. John H.K. Fisher. Tonight we're speaking about Blink of an Eye. John is a musician. I love it already. A retired high school teacher and a truth seeker. He is a singer-songwriter who also plays piano, flute, and guitar. And has released 2 albums. Blink of an Eye is his first novel. Blink of an Eye is a new novel by John. The story starts near the end as the protagonist, Hamasa, is being interrogated as a suspected terrorist. His life flashes into view as the reader is taken on a journey from the innocence of his youth in Afghanistan, awakening into romance, love, and adulthood in Canada, to being a seeker of universal truth and discovering secrets that rewrite mankind's history. Wow. Take the journey with the Hamasa, to see if you too will awaken a curiosity to explore the truths of life. John has been performing since he was 13. His dedication led him to the University of British Columbia, where he earned a Bachelor of Music, and then on to working with some of Vancouver's top performers and groups as a flautist, pianist, and vocalist. His first writing and production effort earned him honors at the Cannes Amateur Film Festival for the soundtrack to the film. No entry. His accomplishments include performances across Canada, the U.S., Europe, and the Far East. John's song "You Made My Night" hit the top 100 charts internationally, and his song "City of Darkness" hit the top 100 charts in Canada. John is now focused on getting his music published. John, you're welcome to use your music here, sir. Recorded and placed in film and television. He is currently performing in Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada. John is currently sharing his love of music through his latest releases, Love Prevails, I love it already, a collection of adult contemporary originals with vocals and instrumentals available on iTunes, and a new Blink of an Eye available on Amazon. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel, John Howard Keating Fisher, H.K., while checking out the videos. Thanks for all your support, he says. I am now going to post his contact into the forum. Please do exactly what I just instructed and asked you to do. Check out my bro Ham John. And as we bring John onto Center of Light Radio, welcome, sir. I am so grateful that you've taken time out of your beautiful life to spend it with us.
Hi, Keith. Well, thank you very much for that introduction, and it's an honor to be here. And I'm just actually learning about your journey and your insights in the last little while myself. So it's been a real eye-opener.
We're connected already, aren't we? It's like there's no turning back. Right? John, how would you like to proceed? You and I could sit here and just talk about our musical accolades and people we played with and have a beer and butts each other's jaws for a little while. That would be absolutely fun. But how would you like to move into this experience, Blink of an Eye? And I guess I would like to ask the questions to start off with. I know this is a novel, but does this truly parallel with your life with a little embellishment?
Yes, I mean the catalyst of writing the book actually, it's a long story, but the main thing for me is trying to find the truth, and you always think that you found it, and you start to dig in and live your life with that truth that you figure you have found, and then something comes along and just kicks your butt, and then you start wondering, well, gee, did I have the truth, and was that really the truth? And so that's been a large part of my journey, and I got kicked off the horse, I guess. I was on a path, and things just didn't seem right after years bashing my head against the wall. And that struggle of looking for the truth and trying to find, I had a real deep, profound spiritual experience when I was young, and my whole life I've been trying to get that back, that experience, so that I had the confidence, so that I could grow in the direction I wanted to grow in.
Any luck? And seriously, and I mean that honestly. I don't mean that facetious. Anything. I mean, are you having some success? Because I love what you just described, sir. That once we find the truth, we think it's we think it's the icing on the cake, and then something comes along. That's definitely a true statement from me. But I think that one way, or at least the truth that we find that can never be fudged or budged, is the presence of joy. So are you expanding into that joy by this seeking that you're doing, sir?
Oh, man. Well, I wish, but it's like just keeping it real, being honest about everything. You're brought into a journey with such high ideals and with such high expectations, and I guess it's like if you're a millionaire, you expect to be a billionaire, and you're living this big dream, and you're living it out, and all of a sudden you realize you don't have any money. Well, yeah, it's hard to keep that energy and that excitement and that stuff going. You're going to feel the down of it all, of not all of a sudden losing all your money. So, it's a journey back, to try to find that again, I guess. You get knocked off the horse, you got to climb right back on and keep riding. I mean, life, you only have this one, opportunity that we're aware of. And I just want to make the best of it, and do the best for myself and for those people around me and for the world and for the universe. And I think finding the truth is such an awesome goal. And scientists are searching for it, and so many people are on the path to find truth in things. And I think that's an awesome thing that humanity's come to. And so at least I feel joy that I'm on that journey. Whatever the truth is, I haven't found the truth yet, but I feel honored to be on that journey. And I just wish the whole world could get behind that with more resources for the scientists or for the people seeking truth and stuff in all things. But anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of being.
I love it, brother, because you and I actually parallel that way, and many people do. Millions of people are awakening, and I don't mean this cliche social media awakening, 5D ascension. These beautiful words, these beautiful ideas have become so bastardized and just thrown around. But I love that you are willing. I can see your willingness to do whatever it requires to find that makes this thing into this joyful human being. And so let's move into about this novel, Blink of an Eye. Tell us what this is about, and does this parallel with your life, sir?
Yeah. So when I was 9, my parents took me, like we normal Canadian upbringing. Everything's the church, everything's God. That's the explanation for everything. Sunday school and all that, right? And you go to school and it's the Lord's Prayer and everything. So the same Maharishi that the Beatles went to in India, when they went to India, he came to Calgary, Alberta, and he was saying, relieve stress, and it wasn't a religion; it was just a tool of, that to help the Western world adapt to the stress that they were all facing. And my parents were going, having a hard time, and so they dragged my sister and I down, and we were 9 and she was 10, I guess. And it was a bit of a joke, but it resonated with me more than the other kids that were there, and for some reason it kind of planted a real seed in me. And my mom had bought a whole bunch of books, but when we went back to our small community, or our neighborhood or whatever, with the church and stuff, it was the devil, and it was, you're gonna be excommunicated, and all that stuff. So we had to shut it down and stuff. But my mom still had those books, and I was tuning into those books and stuff. And then when we had health issues, we would turn to those books, because there was a lot of health information in those books and stuff. The wisdom, the healing wisdom of the ancients and from India and stuff like that. So, and then I read The Prophet by Carl Gibran or whatever, and just my consciousness was trying to open up, and one day, maybe this helped get me going, but I was at a party, and my drink was spiked with drugs. And
would you elaborate on what those drugs were? Not that I'm pushing it, but was it ayahuasca? Was it some acid? Was it mushrooms?
Yeah, more like acid stuff.
Okay.
It was legal totally legal in those days. It wasn't. It was just when Timothy Leary was out experimenting at the university with it, with getting all his students on it and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, by then, we lived in Cranbrook, BC, and it was kind of a highway between Toronto and Vancouver, where everybody was traveling back and forth across Canada to see the country and stuff. So anyway, I was having a real bad trip, but the hallucinations were so real to me. Like I just got sucked into it. It was quite emotional. I got very emotional and stuff, but I got really afraid at one point. I was up in a tree. I mean, it's a long story. It's I go into it more in the book, but there were snakes coming at me, and anyway, I prayed to God, because that's the be all and end all. Like, that's how we're brought up and everything, and that's where we turn in a crisis. And out of a clear sky, a bolt of lightning hit me, and I was completely cured. No more hallucinating. I had a strychnine pain. I guess it was badly laced acid and stuff. And I was just instantly cured and was high as a kite on natural energy, just on this feeling of love and connection with God and stuff.
So let me ask you this, John, because this was induced via a chemical. When you cried out, because you're open now because of said chemical, and you're able, we see when we cry out, we all receive. It's just, are we aware that we're receiving it? But you became aware. So are you saying that when the it of it all, the end all, came in, that the chemical that brought you there was completely dissipated, negated, and you were now in an energy that was so beyond the poison, so to speak, of this particular inducement?
That's how I certainly felt. I mean, I didn't go for testing anything. I was in a small town, and I didn't go in for testing and stuff. But yeah, it was just that's exactly. You put it into such elegant words there. But so I went off into the mountains, and there's this mountain lake, and it's very secluded, and nobody's up there, and I'm underneath a tree, gazing up on the hill with the deer coming down, that sort of thing. And I'm trying to write a song, so I'm focused on my song, and I'm trying to connect with God and nature and everything, and I'm trying to keep that alive, that experience of being touched and helped by God, and felt that, there was an opening there of communication and stuff. And it felt more real. Like, it felt like it was a real thing.
What did it feel like, John? If you would, what did it feel like? Because when I had my experience writing The Divine Principle, when that door was open, I was coming out of a 10-year relationship, and I was in that dark night, that grueling place. Oh my God. And I found myself in a place of complete surrender. My mentor, who I just met at that moment in my life, whispered a few metaphysical things in my ear, and he said, "Keith, you don't have to believe anything I'm telling you. Just do these and watch what happens." And I was thrown into an absolute experience. And for me, it felt like I could smell the voice, I could taste the voice, I could hear the voice, I could feel the voice. It was everything imaginable, and there was no separation between myself and it. Hence the question to you I put, what did it feel like? Because I think it might be important for myself as well as the audience to know what it feels like and to be in that space of just true grace.
Yeah, well, I guess I didn't have anything to compare to, and I was still pretty young. I was only 14. So, but it was very real, and just a lot of love, feeling the ecstasy of it. I didn't really understand what was going on, but anyway, so I'm underneath this tree. This was really powerful, and all of a sudden, that word that I was given, that mantra that I was given when I was 9 from the Maharishi, from the TM, came into my mind on its own. I didn't ask, or I didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking about writing this song. And all of a sudden, I was looking out into the stars. Like it's the morning, the sun's out and everything. All of a sudden I was going into the stars. And as I was flying into the stars, I started to feel this love, this expanded consciousness, like this openness. And I started thinking of my family. I love them. And then the community and all my friends. And then it just kept expanding and expanding out into the universe. And that was the most amazing experience of love. And I was just totally accepted. And it was unconditional. It was totally mind-boggling.
Was it familiar? Was it familiar? Did it feel like,
No.
oh, I remember this place? So this was something that was, at least to you, new.
Totally. And it was, a big step up from being hit by the lightning and having been cured of that, and then of my high, and then having energy and stuff like that. This was a real transcendent experience that I was having. But what happened is I all of a sudden I thought, well, where am I going? What is this? Like, what's happening to me? This is amazing, but what is this? And I thought, where am I? And I guess as soon as I started to have those thoughts and have that feeling, and then I looked down and I saw myself under the tree with my guitar in my hand, and I thought, oh my God, where am I? And then in that instant, I was back in the body, and I was just crying. And so I really felt that I must have had an outer body soul experience. I feel like I experienced that I had a soul, that there was something about me that could leave the body and still exist. And that was incredibly powerful. Like, I went back to my family and everything. I was trying to tell everybody that, there really is a God. You really do have a soul and everything. But everybody just shut me down, told me to be quiet and that I was crazy. And then, just focus on your schoolwork and, the kind of thing.
John,
right?
do you still have these experiences, or let me say, glimpse reminders of that? Of course, like I say, John, tell me a little bit about it. And of course, it recalls it. But do you ever have these impressions that bring you like, whoa, right back to this space?
Well, that's been this happened at such a young age.
Right.
I was only 14, and most people are thinking about, who they're going to marry, what job they're going to do, their career and everything. And this just put me for a loop, because I was just getting into music, and I was thinking, maybe music was going to be my life. And then this happened, and it just took me into a whole nother world, because it was so real and I couldn't just ignore it. And even though everybody made fun of me and shut me down, I just learned to be quiet and just secretly kept seeking. But yeah, I wanted that so bad. I wanted God in my life. I wanted reality, that reality. It seemed more real, more lasting. And the love, like people say, oh, they love you, but it doesn't, I don't know, it's not there till death. Like this love is there after death. That's how it felt to me. This love was eternal. That's how it felt. Like, it felt so powerful. And so that just put me on a journey. Like, that became the most important thing in my life. And to reconnect to that and to further explore that. And then when I went to the church, the ministers, they said, oh, be careful. Maybe that's the devil trying to bring mislead you and stuff like that, bring you away from the church, because I couldn't find the answers in the church. And then when I was 16, I went to Vancouver, and I went to the TM people, but they just wanted money. Like, they said, oh, you're at level 2, give me $1,000 and then another 1,000 if you want to go to the next level. And I just thought, that's not God. God wouldn't be like that. So I was really looking for truth and love, the real unconditional love, and that I had experienced. But yeah, my whole life has been searching for that man, and I've just been kicked off a horse in the last few years. That's where the book came from, and so now I'm trying to get back and find that. But yeah, so it's been quite the journey. I ended up in India at the feet of a master. and I
Wow.
gave myself completely to it. And
Can you divulge that name, or is that something that's just so sacred to you, you like to keep it that way?
yeah, it's just
I get it, brother. But God bless you. I like that. That's your answer.
it's just no, actually, it's not the secret thing. It's just I've been told to watch myself because the book's based on it, and I didn't use the names in the book, but I guess they could sue me or something. Like I don't know, it's a weird story like that. So yeah, I'll probably just keep the names out of it. But um, uh, have you heard of Ramdas,
Love
the
me
Be
some
Here,
Ram Dass. Love it. Be right.
the Western dude? Yeah, he talked about going to India to meet this master if you want to get a real
I got it.
uh, hardcore course in spirituality. But like they always said, like you'll get you'll find God in this lifetime. You'll be able to talk to him, and you'll know your past life, and you'll have all these powers of telepathy and all stuff like that. But they said, it would just be between you and God, and you wouldn't use those powers for anything material. But I bashed my head against the wall for over 30 years in that. And my master passed away, and then the next successor passed away, and then the third successor. Um, yeah, I had a real powerful spiritual experience, and it's in the book, Blink of an Eye. Um, I was trying to capture that unconditional love and leaving my body and actually going to God. Like they talk about in spiritual circles, right, where you can experience your soul, and then that soul experiences God. And you read about it, and you hear of other people having that experience, and you want it for yourself, to verify everything, and all, you're meditating 3 hours a day, you're following all the rules, you're a vegetarian, you're not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? Like you're repressing all your animal instincts and you're just going for this, right? Because you've had a taste of it, and it's the most important thing in life. And lo and behold, the master wrote to me, because I kept writing to him complaining, and he kept blaming it on me. I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing that right. There's, and you got to have more love. You got to have more focus, blah, blah, blah. And I just wrote back and said, well, why can't God just have some more mercy on me? Like, why does it always have to be me? I'm nothing. I'm nobody. I'm just a, crazy human on this planet trying the best I can. Why can't God do something for a change? And then he wrote back and he said, listen, don't stress yourself out. Like, humans aren't supposed to know the truth. And I go, what? Like, for 30 years, I thought all your books say that you're going to talk to God, you're going to know everything. And he wrote this letter to me. So I phone him and I'm talking to him and like, what is going on? Like, how come the switch? What's the truth here? And then he said something that just blew me away. And it caused a lot of anger and doubt in me. And this is after, like, I should tell you the spiritual experience I had with this guy. But he said that it's a game.
John, let's hold that right there. What a great
Okay.
cliffhanger. We're going to go into commercial break. Dude, I'm really
Okay.
loving I'm really loving listening to your story, because it reminds me so much of me and what, in fact, why I do what I do, because I like that opening of that flower. That's kind of what I do. Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard with my guest tonight, Mr. John H.K. Fisher, and we're speaking about Blink of an Eye. We're going to be talking about his book here shortly, and also he's going to continue to tell us about this experience he had. Let's go down to some Lavender Soul. John and I have been talking about this unfoldment process, this place of wanting to know something that is greater beyond what we've ever known. That's what everyone's looking for. No matter where you are in the world, look out and about. You can see it in people's eyes. They may not even know that they're searching for it. If you're spiritually aware, you can look simply without judgment and see that people are starving for something of a greater magnitude they have ever known. Deepak Chopra says that a world that is addicted is a good sign indeed. It means that we're looking to fill the hole that we feel inside so that we can begin to feel wholeness. Song I wrote one day, many years ago. My son was about 3 or 4 months old. You hear him cry in the middle of it. I knew when I wrote the song and we started recording it, I left this empty space. So one day I'm going to change his pants or feed him or whatever, and he's crying. And it dawned upon me, wow, that's what goes in the middle of that song. And I did not want him to stop crying, so I kept agitating him a little bit. Shame on me. Booted up the computer, opened the software, and hit record. And I did not manipulate this track. I didn't. You will hear the cadence and the meter of this song, and the crying is just redonkulous. As John and I are speaking about, basically, what am I looking for? Dear Lord, what in the world am I looking for? Laver the Soul, be right back.
Inside.
What am I hoping for? A better world, is there a cure? What can I do to help the score? I'm at a loss, I'm just
place you haven't tried. Your search for love is taking chances. Have you ever thought to look inside? Where do you go to find your answers? There is a place you haven't tried. Your search for love is taking chances. Have you ever thought to look inside? You hold the key to find your answers. I am the door you have not tried. Never again taking chances. Open your heart and walk inside. Walk inside.
Welcome back to Center of Light Radio. I am Keith Anthony Blanchard. Yanava. Yanava yourself every morning. But when you put your feet on the floor, intend to open up the gate, open up the crown chakra, and also to intend to carry this wish, this will, decision, choice out. Watch your day unfold. It's about bringing something via your wanting, your mana, your starvingness of something than you have ever known. Quick shout out to my brand new friend, Dan DiTillo, also known as the Survival Ninja. Next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Show titled Telekinesis and the Survival Ninja. It's not just about the show off and the bling bling that he can move stuff with his will. That's cool. I like that shit. I love it. The fact that it is true. It's another validation of the energy work that we all presume is happening. But he's gifted in this way. He introduced me to another, quote, master telekinesian. I just created a new word, a telekinesian. And Dan, if you make money on this, just give me half. We're going to be speaking about telekinesis, the energy involved, aligning yourself via diet, meditation, all that's real, to be able to use the force. Look, here's the force around you, will you? Around you. I kid about it, but it's a very real force. And of course, it requires a level of discipline, which creates responsibility. Mother Earth and God will not hand you power when you're being a knucklehead. Dan will attest to this. Next Tuesday night, let's get back down to Center of Light Radio business and bring my guest back on, John Fisher. Welcome back, sir. I've been posting your contact in the room. People are welcoming you, sir, left and right. Welcome to Center of Light, my friend.
Welcome back. All right.
Yeah. So let's take up where we left off on this experience with this gentleman you were saying, sir, because I thought it was a great cliffhanger, so I can go to commercial break and pay some bills.
All right. Okay, so my master had just passed away, and I had, wonderful bonding experiences with him as a human being, and feeling the love community with the family there and everything in India. But I mean, I wished that when I meditated or when I was in my, in my spiritual realm, that I could reconnect with that experience that I had when I was 14. That was the high that I was always trying to reach for, and I could never get that back. So that was always in the back of my mind, it was always a frustration, always, but it was also an inspiration, of course, and always like, something to work towards. So I was very eager because I had such a taste of it. And then my master passed away. So my whole world just went dark. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of people that come in and say, oh, now they're the new master. No, I'm the new master. No, I'm the new master. So it was a very dark period trying to figure out what direction to go into. And on my own, I came to realize that, in all humility, it's hard. You can't just be God and turn on these powers or these abilities or these experiences. You're just a human being, like I had no power over my mind, over my soul, over the creation, over anything. So I was at the mercy of realizing that I need help. I need to reach out. I need to have guidance, and I need to have, to be given these experiences that inspire me, that keep me going, and that sort of thing. So it was a real dark period. And then I went to the ceremony, and they were, honoring the new master, and they were honoring the one that just passed away. And I walked into the auditorium, and my master that had passed away, he walked on stage. And all of a sudden, these gold towers grew up out of the stage, and all this light came, and the angels came, and they took a big crown, and they placed it was a sparkling crown, and then this huge throne came up. And
this is, excuse me, is this something you saw within, or are you saying that this was part of the props that took place?
No,
you said stage.
I just walked into this auditorium, and the successor was up there talking, and some other people were presenting and talking, and this all of a sudden just happened. It was like superimposed, because those people were still there, and this sort of was happening on top of it. Like only my eyes could see this, and I looked like I couldn't believe that this was happening. So I was rubbing my eyes, and I closed my eyes to see if I saw anything with it, my eyes closed, and it was darkness. I opened my eyes, and it was still there, this bright light and the throne, and the angels put this crown on my master, who was dead, who was passed away. They had a funeral for him. In India, they put you on a pile of wood and burn the wood, and then they spread your ashes on the Ganges. So all that happened. There's video of it and everything. So anyway, he's there with this crown, and he goes and sits in the throne. And then the angels come up and bring him down. Then they take the crown and put it on the successor's head. So then that gave me confidence that must be the successor. And then because there's, throughout the world, there's many that said they were the true one. But this experience really helped me. And then my master, who was dead, he just lied down at the front of the stage there, and then they had a ceremony. Everybody came around him, and he turned dark, and then he kind of faded away. So I guess that was his passing. And then the new master that had the crown on his head, and he went and sat on the throne. And I was looking up at the ceiling, like the wall behind me, thinking maybe this is a hologram, like they're projecting something onto this stage. Like it was just so unbelievable. And I'm kind of a passive guy, so I didn't run up to the stage and try talking to the angels or anything. But in hindsight, I wished I would have, just to find out what was going on. I don't know if I was seeing a scene that was happening on a different plane, and my third eye was open and I was seeing something, or if this was happening, in the physical. But I talked to other people and nobody else saw anything. And anyway, it was very powerful, and people are very emotional. Like my master had passed away. This was a ceremony, so everybody was crying, and there was a lot of stories going on. And so anyway, the scene faded. I can't really say how long it lasted. Yeah, but I turned away a few times. I rubbed my eyes a few times, and it was always there. And then, but eventually it faded. But the successor, he could turn into different masters. So he turned into my dead master, and then he turned into a bunch of other masters. And I was trying to see, well, I wonder if that's Jesus, or if that's Nanak, or is that Kabir, and all these, is that Buddha? And
that would be that would be a yes to all of them. Right? It's the same divinity. John, I had the same opportunity, but differently. When I was in India, I was summoned by that avatar, Satya Sai Baba. He came to me in a dream experience. Well, he started coming to me a year before. I heard about this avatar when they said he can manifest out of nothing. I was like, oh my God, I'm hooked. I wanted that bells and whistles. I wanted that bang. So I started reading every book I can read about him. He doesn't write books, you might know. But people write books about him. So I started reading about him. And then he started coming to me in my sleep states of consciousness. And I am so conscious, more so than I am now, talking with you, sir. And one night he comes to me in a dream, I remember this, taps me on my, quote, knee, to bring me to a state of full-blown consciousness. And he's standing in front of me across a river, a couple 300 feet. And I could see him, and he begins to talk to me telepathically. He says, Keith, come to India. And I said, oh my God, I would love to. How will I get there? I've never done such a thing. I don't know what to do. I've never been out there. He goes, Keith, put all this nonsense down. I got you. I got you back. So I wake up in the morning, John, and I'm going, what the fuck? It felt so real. From all the books I've read about him, they all say that when he comes to you, you're not dreaming. That's why nobody can just dream of Jesus or Buddha, because you have to be operating and oscillating on this high level for your mind to even paint the picture that is Jesus, Buddha, whatever, or Sai Baba. God, basically. So I wake up in the morning, jumping up and down. From all the books I read, I go, I guess I'm going to India. I'm just going to let this go. True story. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a lady I've never met. Says, hi, Keith, my name is Debbie Jabor. I said, hi, Debbie, what can I do for you? She goes, Keith, we have a mutual friend. I said, okay. He told me you want to go to India to see a holy man. I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, Keith, I'm a flight attendant, and I have some companion passes that are about to expire. And that would not be cool, knowing you want to go to India to see a holy man. Can I give you a first class round trip ticket? I take off to go to India. So I'm telling this story because I love that you're bringing it home. You're making it real. What was it like for you to be in Mother India? Did you feel that magic that was present, even in the impoverished areas, that there was something really, truly alive there?
Oh yeah, for sure. You're. It's depressing when you have to leave, and then it's like a dark cloud comes over you, and you're back into reality of the animal world, or whatever the difference is, instead of the spiritual world. But wow, yeah, it's a special vibe, and you're around people that are having spiritual experiences. I was with my partner at the time, and as soon as she entered the ashram, she started hearing this amazing symphony. And she goes, wow, I didn't know there'd be a symphony here. And I go, what are you talking about? And I couldn't hear it. And she could hear this amazing symphony. She was describing it to me like it sounded otherworldly, and it like all the music of the world together. And like it wasn't like just Mozart, or it wasn't just Indian music. It was kind of combined of everything. And she.
That's called, I think, John, I think you might know this. I think that's called the music of the spheres, or at least one component of it, which is, it makes sense in the human way. We know 7 notes, and the 8th one is the octave. It's the same with the rainbow. There's 7 colors, and it repeats. But there is a level, a dimension, a reality rather, where things beyond our linear perception input sensory objects that opens up, and there's such a cacophony there, an amazing symphony of sound. In fact, people who die and come back, they say they hear this ongoing infinite current of sound.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
And yeah, so you're at the ashram, and it's a very peaceful, very loving. Everybody's trying their best to be, at the highest consciousness, the highest level they can be. So yeah, there's a power there that's very tangible. You can feel it in the air. You can breathe it, and so yeah, with this experience, the only thing that confused me, and I started writing and talking to the master quite a lot about, is I couldn't understand why me and why other people couldn't see that. And then why, like, if you read about that in the Bible, about somebody having that experience, they would be considered a saint. And I said, I'm no saint. I'm just a regular animal on the planet, blind. I don't see my soul. I don't see God. And then what does this mean? And anybody, if I can have that experience, anybody could have it. That's how I interpreted it for myself. And I said, it didn't change me. Like, it didn't all of a sudden give me power to see my soul or to talk to God or anything. It kind of, unfortunately for me at this point, after 30 years, like when I was 14, I had that experience. It put me into this whole, like, surrendered my whole life to this. And to tell you the truth, I mean, life just kicks you in the butt. Reality, like, so every day you're dealing with somebody's dead, somebody's diseased, you got sick, you're trying to make a living, and then you break a leg, and then your arm goes, and then, I mean, it's just every day there's, you make some money, and then somebody steals it. You get a car, and somebody steals it. Like, every day you're dealing with all this crap, and all the people around you, all the negativity, and it just, and you're trying to be this spiritual person. Oh man, after 30 years, I felt like a soldier, had been through, World War III, and for the ideals, like, you're on, Jesus said, be perfect, so you're going for the top of the clouds, and you're living in the mud of the mud. And after all this struggle, and then this was near the end of it, and I had that amazing experience, but it didn't do anything for me. It didn't hit me like when I was 14, and it didn't hit me as reality. I was wondering, gee, that just seems so phony in a way, because it didn't change me in any way. It didn't give me the ecstasy and the love. It didn't feel like, I felt the emotion and stuff, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. But
so everything else that comes along in your experience just simply pales in comparison to what you are trying to grasp and reach for. From the chat room, Dan DiTillo asked the question. He says, John, what did you feel? Dan DiTillo is a guy, he's the survival ninja I'm going to have on Center of Light Radio next week. He asked the question, what did you feel when you returned? Did your body feel very weak? And I think he's asking this question because, being a telekinesian, my new word, nobody steal my word, that he's, when he's bringing through so much energy, of course, it's, I'm assuming, just to make a metaphor, an analogous idea is, you drink a 5-hour energy drink, or you have a cup of coffee, or you do this thing that helps you feel this amazing buzz and this high stature. All of a sudden, when it wanes off, it's just kind of like, whew, I feel taxed. Did you feel any taxation at all, or how long did maybe that bliss linger, or what was it like for you?
Well, yeah, like you're in that special environment, and then all of a sudden you're back into the mud, you're back into reality, and you're dealing with all your coworkers and all the jealousy and greed, and and all the acts, all the stuff that I went through. And, your mom's dying of cancer, and then you get cancer, and just endless, all the mud, right? And yeah, and I kept reaching out, and I was hoping to get some clarity, that I was hoping to get, yes, you're on the verge, or you're almost there, or you're doing great, or something like that. But all I got was, humans aren't allowed to know the truth, which was just crushing. That just crushed my whole spirit after 30 years. And then I was told that it's a game. Oh man, that just destroyed me. Because if you think of a game, you think of like the Roman emperors, right? And they create these games so they don't get bored. And they start off, watching the animals fight, maybe the roosters have a fight, and then pretty soon they're throwing, gladiators, people, human beings into the ring, right, to fight each other, or lions or whatever. And to the spectators, it's just a hilarious, wonderful entertainment. But to the poor people in the ring, they're facing death. They're getting injuries, and lifelong injuries, I'm sure, and they're getting dead. So it's, and then sure, it's just a game, and for the spectators. So if God is just one of these, like a Roman king spectator, and he's created all this as a game, oh man, that crushed me. I'm sorry. I hate to put this out there, but I'm just telling you how it happened to me. And I couldn't stay on that path. I couldn't stay with that master, because so I'm reaching out. So the whole book and all this is just reaching out for the truth. I'm still looking for the truth. Like, that can't be the truth. Like, as confusing as everything is, and we, the bottom line, there's nobody has a alien spacecraft in the backyard saying that I've got proof of an alien, or nobody's got, a little green man in their bedroom with them, or in their house with them, and they can't say, well, come and see the proof. And so the evidence just isn't there for a lot of things that people say. And that's what we need. We need, like, I just had an epiphany where, geez, if science could get more money, if science could get more resources and help, and more people go into the field and get to the bottom of what really is the truth. And like these masters, there's so many masters out there, but they're not part of any scientific experiment. They're not getting analyzed. They're not, like if there is an astral plane, causal plane, like maybe science could discover that and have evidence of it and proof and stuff. If there's life after death and all these mysteries in life.
I think some of that is starting to happen, don't you? As you look out and about in the world, we see evidence. We got fake news and all that stuff. I get it. But as we filter through, I think science is starting to lose the hard-nosedness, the nuts and bolts of it all. I think a lot of these young scientists, even some of the old ones, they're tired of living in the dogma. Oh dear Lord, I need to write a book called The Dogma of Science. The dogma of science. Okay, that we need this 1 + 1 = 2. Actually, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. Because if you're a one individual and God is the absolute one, as a person, when you curve within yourself to touch the one, 1 + 1 = 3. That's the Trinity. So these kinds of ideas, models, take us to another place of seeing, feeling, being, freeing, all that cool stuff. So to me, like you said, you've been talking about all night, John, is when we think we know something, something comes along and shatters everything completely into bits. We got one more segment for you. We're at the bottom of Center of Light Radio with my guest, Mr. John H.K. Fisher, and we're talking about A Blink of an Eye. We haven't really talked much about the book. Maybe we touched on it, but John and I just having fun. Short commercial break with a dear friend of mine, 21 years old, singer-songwriter in Memphis. She comes to my open mic on Mondays. Oh my God. You got 30 seconds to go get you some tissue. check her out. She's phenomenal.
I don't know anymore. My mind and soul, they fight the war. Lost my faith in myself and everything else. Yet I'm so afraid to lose it all. I guess I'd rather try than die not knowing. I guess I'd rather fight than give up hoping that maybe you would find the courage to grow with me. All I want is you, nothing but you. This won't work unless you want me to fight for me, dear. That's all I ask of you. So go ahead and reel me in again. Love me good and make me feel something. Promise me you'll never let me go. Go ahead and break my heart again. If she flirts, she's more than just a friend. Fool me twice, I guess this one's on me. But don't you ever expect anyone to love you like me. I don't know anymore. I ask myself, what is this for? I wanna say that you're worth all the pain, but I don't know tomorrow. I just know today. I guess I'd rather try than die not knowing. I guess I'd rather fight than give up hoping that maybe you and I can make it some way somehow. But maybe it is best to give up hoping, suffer through the pain of losing you, knowing there's still so much of me that loves so much of you. So I'll go ahead and break your heart this time. In the end, at least it wasn't mine, though this hurts me more than I can bear. I promise you you'll find somebody new, and I know I'll find somebody who will love me for exactly who I am. But don't you ever expect anyone to love you like me. Like me. You lied, I thought you were my friend, a thief who stole my innocence. I fought and lost, your heart was not the broken one. I tried to fight the fears that I had to hide, but in the end, I let myself be free. So I'll go ahead and love myself this time. Cut you off, get you out of my mind. The pain is dulled and I can finally breathe. I'll work on me and find somebody new, 'cause I know I'll find somebody who will love me for exactly who I am. But don't you ever expect anyone to love you like I did.
Welcome back to Center of Light, speaking with my guest tonight, Mr. John H.K. Fisher. And we're speaking about lots of really cool things about unfolding, expanding, and all that cool stuff that makes life worthwhile, that means anything at all. John, we are at the bottom of this program, sir. Thank you for joining me. Would you like to leave us with a closing thought? Anything you would like to announce to our audience about how they can find out more about you, your work, what's coming up for you down the pike, and an overview maybe of your book and why they should lean into it and check it out?
Okay, so thanks very much for having me on the program. So Blink of an Eye, basically, one of the fantasies that I had is wanting to meet a master, or like when Jesus was alive and people met him and saw his miracles and stuff. So I thought, what would that be like? So the protagonist, he starts off, being accused as a terrorist and all that, and you find out about his activities, and then he meets the master, but the master gives him all this power and tells him he has to keep it secret, but instead he goes out to save the world. So like we're having the sixth mass extinction. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody in the world that could do something about that? And then apparently, we're heading towards World War III. Well, wouldn't it be nice for somebody to come along and get rid of nuclear weapons or weapons of mass destruction, biological weapons and stuff? And then apparently we're going into, according to, a few scientists, we could be going into human extinction in the next 10, 20 years because of global warming. So wouldn't it be nice if God was on Earth and could do something about that? And so that's why it's fiction, because I go into a lot of that where God on Earth, what would he actually be doing? And we see that in the book. And then I have some twists and stuff like that, because right now in my life I got thrown off that horse, so I'm back in the mud wondering which direction to go in or what's real. And it's a cry out. It's a cry out for help. Like if anybody's got evidence, or if anybody's got the true path or the true way or whatever. So I kind of leave it with a cliffhanger at the end of the book where, is this a simulation? Is this a hologram that we're living in? Is it an alien controlled experiment? There's all these theories out there, right? If you get on the internet, it's endless, right? The theories that are out there. I was on a path, and it turned out that the theory was that it's all a game. And if you're a spectator, then you're above the game, and it's fun and it's blissful, and you're full of bliss and everything. But if you're in the game, you're suffering, man. You're facing sickness and death and loss of love and everything else, or a disconnection from love. And I guess that's the gist of it. I don't want to give away all the details. You got to read the book, hopefully.
Right.
But anyway, so future events, I hope to do a sequel of the book, and that's in the plan, and I've started it. And then just hope to put my creative ideas and the things that I discover, the connections that I make with other people and other people's ideas and stuff. I just hope to keep channeling that through my music and get back into my music and that sort of thing, and keep creative and find the joy, like you're saying, get back into the center.
Everyone, I am posting John's link yet again for the fourth whatever time into the forum. Check his work out. John, I know that you know that I know that you know. We can play this back and forth. When you play music, 4 or 5 songs into the experience, things start to get loose and you start to fall. That one place does remind you of that place you're searching for, does it not?
Oh, yeah.
It's sure. Right. It's like, whoa, I'm still here. I haven't left yet, Because, when I get into that zone, I take my shoes off and I make all kind of crazy faces. And I'm just going. I'm going somewhere else. John, yeah. You've been a phenomenal guest, sir. Please keep us updated what you're doing, and you're always welcome at Center of Light Radio, my friend.
Okay, so yeah, johnhkfisher.com. You can get a free chapter, and you can get 3 free songs that I've written and produced and everything. So johnhkfisher.com. You can check out the work there.
John, thank you, bro. Keep us
Thanks for
posted.
the support, brother.
And
Al.
listen, your music is welcome here. If you need some, just whatever. I don't expect to do it for free, but we this platform can use some love and light, sir.
Yeah, sure. If you want to play the music there, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
That'd be
And maybe one
awesome.
night we'll get you on. You get your flute out, and I'll get my guitar, and we'll do some intro to Stairway to Heaven or whatever. We'll just kind of do a little.
All right. Well, it's an honor having this connection, and I hope it grows, and I can do some traveling, maybe get down there. That'd be awesome.
Brother, I'd show you around. You'd love some Memphis, Tennessee. Everyone, my guest tonight, Mr. John H.K. Fisher. We've been speaking about blink of an eye. When life can happen in such a ridiculous way, it's beautiful. It happens in a blink of an eye. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? It's not supposed. It's supposed to happen in the blink of an eye. Hence, an awakening. The truth is not a salve, tincture, nor band-aid. It is a head knocker. It's a ball buster. It is here to open you up. Speaking of opening you up, in about an hour from now on this wall, my personal wall, I'm going to do a new presentation show platform of mine called In the Cave. Are you willing to go from slave to brave? Step into the cave, leave your shoes and your religion at the door. Let's go play in the Garden of Shiva. I'll see you in just a minute. Peace, love.
Do I hang up, Keith? Oops. Okay.